not watch this video if you haven't read Babel, The Poppy War, or Yellowface, all by Rebecca F. Kuang. If you've read one or two of those books, pay attention to the timestamps on this video, because this is just going to be a rambly rant about all three of those books, so it's going to contain spoilers. So this is the warning now. This video is full of spoilers, and why I'm making this video is because last week I did a Rebecca F. Kuang reading week, and I just need to talk to people about my thoughts and theories. I've got some predictions. I want to know if people feel the same as me in regards to situations that happened in the book, characters in the book, etc. So yeah, it's very rambly. It's quite nonsensical, if that's even a word. I don't make much sense throughout this. It's very, very ranty, and excuse my passion, because these are my raw feelings and emotions as soon as I finish the book. So yeah, I'm quite passionate throughout. Oh dear. But I hope you enjoy. It starts with Babel, then the Poppy War, then Yellowface. The first book of the week was Babel. Now, this destroyed me. You would know this if you've watched my reading vlog video. My God, I've never hated a character more than Professor Lovell and Professor Playfair. Apologies if I get these names wrong, but oh, I hated them. They are evil. Evil. And Robin, I am so sad for him. What he goes through in this book with the whole, he wants to fit in. He's been ripped from his homeland, his life in Canton, his whole family's died. And he's been taken to England and not even explained anything about his life, and just pushed into being, this is what you're going to do. Basically a tool for the British Empire. But then him learning the truth about Babel, about what it means, about what it's doing to China, India, the rest of the world, and him being in turmoil about what to do. It's very heartbreaking, because no wonder he feels like he doesn't belong anywhere. He doesn't understand what the right thing to do is, and I felt those emotions, and I love him and Ramy. Were they in love? I think they were. Is it just me? There was 3 moments in the book where I questioned this, and I really do think they loved each other, which I was sobbing at the end of the book. It was the first moment where they have their first day together, and then they're on that hill and the sun's shining in Oxford, and Robin gets the urge to touch Ramy's face because the sun's hitting it in a way, and he stops. And the second moment was at the ball, where Robin confronts Ramy, being like, Letty wants you, she wants to dance with you, like, why aren't you being with her? And he looks at him and is like, you know why? Or doesn't he says, don't you know why? And there's a charged moment between them. Is that because they love each other and Ramy's trying to admit he loves him? Is it because he's like, duh, I'm working for the Herman Society, like, don't you work for them, kind of thing? Was it a bit of a nod, being like, well, no, like, we're different people? Or was it just plainly because she is very ignorant and doesn't understand what the 3 of her friends are going through, and he's just like, I could never be with someone like her? I can't read it. But then it's the end, how upset Robin is with Ramy's death. And when he says, oh my God, I'm getting emotional even thinking about it. It's so sad. When he says, this is his final moments, people, and he goes back to the morning of Oxford, and it says, the air that day smelled like a promise. All of Oxford shone like an illumination, and he was falling in love. And he had a conversation with Ramy, and I feel like he was falling in love with Oxford, but I feel like he was falling in love with Ramy. I may be reading into it, but that's how I just feel. I wonder, does anyone else feel that way as well? I need to get my story graph notes up. Otherwise, I'm going to ramble and ramble for ages. But can we agree we hate Letty? There was moments in there and I was like, okay, I knew she was going to betray them. I knew it instantly. And I think what hit me hard was that line where they've just come back to Oxford after the trip to Canton and Letty finds out about the Herman Society and they end up like sharing with her what they've all gone through. Like Victoire is telling her about the professor being like, oh yeah, he wanted to test the chains for the slaves on her for a dissertation, that she's not allowed to use the indoor bathrooms where they both live together. How couldn't she see this? Ramy also explains his experiences, etc. They all kind of share with her, look, this is what we're going through, this is how bad Babel is, and this is why we're joining this rebellion. And they end up comforting her. She's so upset, even though they've just shared all of their horrible experiences with her. They end up comforting her, and Robin's like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. They're comforting the white woman after sharing what they've gone through. I mean, doesn't that hit the nail on the head with even society today? Oh, I just wanted to shake her. And then, even again, they're giving her chances. They're like, oh, we loved you, we would have died for you, when she comes for the truce near the end of the book. And Robin and Victoire is like, even seeing her, they feel for her, and when she gets emotional, they want to hug her. And then she's like, I'm your saviour. Oh, those words, she literally was like, I'm your saving grace. You should be thanking me. It made me want to bomb. It actually made me sick. So we hate Letty. And she killed Ramy, which was heartbreaking. Anyway, but I'm going to ramble on. But this is the reason why I'm making this video, is mainly these questions that I had at the end of the book. Did anyone feel this way? I need to know. I'm so glad one of them survived. I mean, who cares about Letty? But one of the things was, I couldn't help but thinking, if Robin had read Griffin's letter, and I'm taking it that the 3 names on there are siblings, because he says, we're not the only ones, and then says those, has those 3 names there. If he read that note, would he have had a will to survive, a will to find his siblings and be with them? Because knowing Griffin and finding out he had an older brother did give him connection, sense of being, and like family. So I was thinking, oh my God, if only he read that letter, would he have had the will to live? I wanted to know what happened between Griffin and, what's the name? You know, his big enemy. He kept on mentioning this place beginning with B. I think it's Bhuta. Bhuta? Oh, Burma. After what happened in Burma. What happened in Burma? We never find out. And what happened when Babel fell? Did it work? Did it do something? I just want to know if Victoire's okay. God damn it. Did anyone feel the same way as me? I didn't realise that Robin was going to kill Professor Lovell. That was insane. I freaking loved it though. But then I'm sad for Robin that it was so violent and it was a crazy hectic way. The book just went from 0 to 100 as soon as Robin got caught. In that moment, I was like, why didn't you lie when he saves Ramy and Victoire and he gets stuck in the bindings, and then his father's like, how long have you been working for them? I was like, why aren't you lying? I don't know. I was a bit shocked that he admitted everything there. But yeah, that book was it really destroyed me. I loved it though. It was amazing. And I'm glad I went through it. So cool how the different languages worked with the bars and like how the magic worked with the languages. It took me a while to get into, I'm not going to lie. Crazy. Loved it. We've all read it. I was about to say read it, but we've all read this. And if you haven't, why did you watch this video? Because this is spoilers. Anywho, on to the next. I'll look different. It'll be a different day, but it will be my overall spoiler thoughts, and I'm needing clarification from you guys for Poppy War. Okay, now the spoiler rambly stuff about the Poppy War. If you haven't watched my other video, I freaking love this book, and this is me just rambling on and on and on about my thoughts and theories, all spoilery. Please, if you agree with me or you disagree, let me know. No spoilers for the next 2 books, please, if you want to comment in the comments, because I've only read the first book. Now, I'm going to start from the beginning and try and work my way through coherently with my thoughts and feelings. So, I thought it was refreshing but brutal about Rin taking that potion or medicine and it ruining her womb so she doesn't have a period. Wow, I was shocked that that happened, but I like that it makes sense because it never, periods and all of that, it's always an afterthought in these books, and it gets explained like later on, or it talks about birth control, and I feel like this is a brutal way, but it's very realistic for Rin's character, because why would she want to have kids with what she's grown up with and what she's had to deal with? Also, she's desperate to survive and stay in this school. Like this, I think it shows her determination and how desperate she is. Oh, I think the camera's a bit wonky. Sorry about that. That was going to bug me. I still think it's wonky. But anyway, I'm going to carry on because apologies if it is wonky. But I felt like it was realistic for Rin's character. Right, Nezha. I think there's chemistry there. I don't know. I know this isn't a romance, but I swear I'm always looking for some romance in these books. I think there's more to her and Nezha's relationship. I don't know whether I'm right there, but that's the way I'm feeling. Obviously, they were enemies. They were horrible to each other at the beginning. Excuse me. Well, Rin wasn't horrible. He was. But then obviously they get over that and they become friends during the war. I think there's still a lot more to come from their relationship. I don't think he's dead. There's no way he's dead. Because she says she sees him in the fog getting taken, dragged away by the Federation soldiers. I think he's going to be experimented on by the Federation soldiers, and he's going to get homed into like this weapon because he's a shaman, and I think they're going to mess him up, and Rin is going to come across him and have to fight him because he's working with the Federation, but he's not himself. Or she's going to realise he's alive and save him, and he's in captive with the Federation army. Either or, I think that's going to happen. And I don't think he's dead. I think there's more to come from them. I really liked her friendship with Kitay. She needed that. I mean, she's got no one. Like, no, definitely before she finds Chaghan, her law teacher, she has no one that likes her, that talks to her. Even she's been kicked out of the military class by Jun. She needs someone, and Kitay is there for her. But instantly I knew there was going to be friction between them, because when she goes away during the festival and stays at his house, and he's like mega rich, he's never had to struggle, he's got a photographic memory, which just adds to how easy life can come for him. And she already is being like, oh, he's never had to fight for this, he's never had to do that. And by the end of the book, he's really telling her, you've done something really bad here, you've committed a terrible, terrible crime. And he is very pro-Empress, being like, oh, the Federation could have lied to you about the fact that she sold out the Cike. And I think he's going to be a big issue in the second book for her. He's going to be probably telling the Empress what's gone down, what threat Rin poses, and they might become head on. I don't know. It's sad what's happened, but I did predict that. I did predict it. I love Rin. I do. I'm a sucker for a badass FMC. You'll know that if you watch the other video where I go into like the reading vlog week. I go into depth about how I feel about Rin's character. But Jesus Christ, I do feel like there should have been some trigger warnings at the start of this book with what goes down. More specifically in that regard, the fact that she does commit genocide, and it's really, definitely with what's going on in the world today, when I read it, I felt quite sick and sad, and oh yeah, I didn't want to like Rin, and it's sad. I feel bad because I still like her, even though I shouldn't. But I feel like a lot of people reading these books will probably go through this. I'm expecting, because I can't wait to see what she does in the next books. I'm expecting her to be a morally grey, bad character. But just in that moment, I did, excuse me, I did feel like I felt bad for still liking her. But I think that's the point. But the book turns so dark, like 50% of the way through, when they get to, I'm not going to say the place right. Goals Nice, this place. When they get there and they find Kitay and they find Venka, and it describes in brutal detail about what she's gone through and what she's witnessed. I didn't expect that. I had to pause the book. I was thinking, this is vile. I feel sick. I feel so bad. Oh my God. Even the description of what they did to people. Whoa. It literally flipped 180. It got brutal after that, and then it continued being brutal. The fact that they ended up getting trapped in that science lab, and you see heads and oh yeah, it was horrible. I did guess that her law teacher Chaghan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he was the gatekeeper. I'm so glad I predicted that. I'm a bit confused with why he has to lock himself up. I hope that gets explained more in the second and third book. I don't really get why he has to shut off the spirits. Maybe because he's too far in, that the gods could take over his body. I don't know whether I've missed something there, but like, I thought the point of the gatekeeper was that he was a good guy and he can use the god's power and be that balance and let people in and out. But I feel like he's too far gone, and that's the kind of vibe I got. He's too far gone. He doesn't have much strength to shut out the gods once he opens himself up to it, so he has to lock himself away. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I don't know what the Empress's goal is. I'm really confused about it. Again, like, I know she's pro-Federation, the Federation. That's obvious. But I just don't know why. I don't think I've missed something there. I think we're going to find out in the second and third book. Like, what's the point? That's my questioning here. I didn't get really much inkling about her purpose in betraying her country. Maybe because she wants it to be more modern, move with the times. Maybe because she really, really hates the warlords. Could be that, and she's had enough of them, so she's like, let's just wipe them out and I can start clean slate and just be the ruler of the whole of Nikan without any issues. That could be it, actually. Okay, Altan. I didn't really like his character. I understand what he's gone through and why the way he is that he is, but I didn't see the kind of bond that him and Rin had. I think it hinted at the end that she kind of loved him, but I don't think she did. I didn't get that vibe from her. Like, I know she wanted his appraisal, but then she ended up having that love-hate relationship where she really didn't like him, and she was like, he can't speak to me like that, and it kind of drove her to be better or to fight more, but that ended up backfiring on her. I think she admired him and she felt a connection with him because he's a Spearly, but I didn't get that love aspect. Like, at school, yeah, she kind of fancied him, I think, but after that, when she was her general, I don't know, I didn't feel like that. And I feel at the end of the book, when Chaghan and Rin are kind of like at a treaty, and you can tell that he really cared for Altan, she really cared for Altan, and they kind of blame each other for the death. But then they're at an agreement that they want to get retribution. They're going to get payback for what happened to him. And it comments the fact that they're not fighting over Altan's attention anymore. So they can they're at a mutual understanding that, and they can be friends. I didn't get that throughout the book, that they were fighting for his attention. I just thought Chaghan thought, you're really, like, you're a brat and you keep complaining, sort your shit out, basically. And Rin was like, I don't like him because he's speaking to me like he's better than me. And I don't get his and Altan's relationship. That's the Altan. I keep saying Altan. It's not Altan, it's Altan. Altan's relationship. I didn't get the whole we're vying for his attention. Did anyone else? I thought that was weird. When I read that in the last page, I thought that was a bit odd. The lab was horrible. And I'm so glad we didn't see Rin get tortured, because I thought that was going to happen. But I'm glad that they were able to escape before she had anything really horrible happen to her in the lab. I loved the scene when they're dancing with the Spearly spirits. To be fair, I really enjoyed all of the scenes when they're in the spirit world. This is just me rambling, and I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense and it's not enjoyable to watch, but I'm just saying how I'm feeling, and this is going to be a random YouTube video. But I don't understand fully why Altan had to die. I know he had to die for Rin to become who she is now. And I guess they needed to blow up the lab. But the way it all happened, I just thought it was a bit... I don't know. I was just a bit confused with, okay, well, he's killing himself, and I think it's because he couldn't live anymore anyway, and he wanted to blow up the lab. And then I was questioning, they had a lot of diseases and poisons in there that's meant to ruin Nikan. Surely him exploding, setting fire to everything, will release those diseases on Nikan. Right? Or would it have just destroyed the diseases? So I wonder if it's going to touch on that in the next book. Like, if it will even mention it. I'm assuming that his fire would have just incinerated the diseases and all the bad gases, and they wouldn't affect Nikan. But I don't know if that's plausible. Probably is, but that confused me. Right. This god, the wind god that's escaped... They say, they are allies now, banned by the mutual atrocities they have committed. They had a god to kill, a world to reshape, an empress to overthrow. I thought they couldn't kill a god when they've overthrown the body. So, I don't know if this word was just said, but I feel like the wind god has taken over that guy's body. Like, the guy is no longer in there. And... that was commented on throughout this book, that you were not able to then kill the body. You can chop off his head, you can do whatever, but the god's gonna be reshaped and like fix itself. So in my eyes, they're not gonna be able to kill this god. They'll have to put him back in the stone mountain. Maybe it was just a turn of phrase, but when I read that, I was thinking, I thought he couldn't be killed. But maybe he hasn't totally taken over that human body yet. I don't know. I hope that's explained in the next book as well. Oh, quickly though, I did really like the Cike and the fact that they're just a band of a bunch of weirdos, basically. And there was good comedy with them, tension. I like that they take on different gods, and that was explained. Some of them aren't shamans and they're just nutcases. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that group progresses and molds. Definitely now they're not doing the Empress's bidding. Now that Rin is freaking in charge, I mean, she's 19. I think she's going to be making some rogue and not good decisions in the next book, but I'm all here for it and I can't wait to read it. These all seem quite negative. Overall, I freaking loved the book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Really, really loved it. I want more kick-assness from Rin, like as in fighting style. I thought we would get a bit more martial arts and her using the magic, but this book is the groundwork. We got a lot of education, world building, understanding the characters, and I think we're going to go right into the action in the next book. So I don't mind too much that I didn't get loads of Rin fighting and being really kick-ass, even though she was, but I wanted it in a bit of a greater way. Quick spoiler warning. Is Yellowface time. So if you have not read this book, turn the video off. Thank you for watching so far, because this is the last of the video, the last book of the video. But do not carry on. Well, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. There's not really many theories or mega stuff to speak about Yellowface, but the main thing I wanted to touch on was the ending. Right, this is what happened. Okay, so I thought, you know, when June was getting harassed on Twitter by that Athena's ghost account, I thought that was Candice, but it ended up being obviously Athena's ex. I kind of then forgot about Candice, and then it ended up being her at the end. So I'm taking that as I guess it was Candice. There was a moment where I was thinking, June is going crazy. She is going cray-cray. That girl is... I really did think she was gonna... Yeah. It was going to be the end for her. But, obviously, that didn't happen. And then I really thought that she was going to kill Candice. June was going to kill her and throw her down the stairs or stab her with her knife. Because she was going... In her head, she was going through it. But you cannot feel bad for this woman, June. And... I think the main reasons are, it's just the ending. My jaw dropped. I literally was like, are you joking? The fact that she's doing the whole, oh, it's all about me, and actually this is what our readers want. They want to believe a white woman. And it's the last lines of, I will present a new account that is compelling precisely because it aligns with what our audience deep down really wants to believe, that I have done nothing wrong, and that this is once again an instance of nasty, selfish, over-demanding people fabricating a tale of racism where there isn't one. This is cancel culture gone deadly. Look at my cars, look at my hospital bills. Then quickly skip to the end. The character assassination will begin. We'll all get dragged down in the mud, and when the dust clears, all that will remain is the question, what if Juniper Song was right? And this will become, in time, my story once again. Oh my God! Oh my God. But it's so... Like, this shit happens and it's so frustrating, but hearing it from her point of view, it makes you just, your jaw drop. To be fair though, Candice, she's a bit crazy as well. She did take it too far. Her life was ruined and she did mess June up, and I'm not warranting this behaviour. But then the behaviour back, like June, it's like tit for tat. Does a bad make a bad thing right? Do you know what I mean? Do we then feel sorry for June and like forgive everything she's done and be like, oh yeah, you know what? No, she does deserve to like fight back and take down Candice. Like, she deserves it because Candice nearly pushed her to the end, to the edge. But then you have to look at it, well, that's what she did to Candice. So there's no accountability either way. It's just going to be, the only win is going to be June being on top. That's all she sees. And it's the, oh my God, it's the line, you know, when she's having an argument with Candice. I think it's the most shocking line, I don't know, of the book. When she thinks Athena is going to come out and it's a ghost and Candice is like hiding. And June goes, because it's not there, you know what kind of the stories people want to hear. No one cares about my stories. I wanted what you have had, but I didn't mean to hurt you. But then when Candice shows herself, Candice is literally just like, no, you're done for. I'm not feeling sorry for you. You are done. I'm going to sell this. And I love when she goes, Yellowface, I'm going to make it big now. And then Athena's like, can't you understand what it's like? Even a little bit. Athena had fucking everything. It wasn't fair. And then she goes, oh God. But it's true, isn't it? You people, I mean diverse people, you're all they want. It's true. I'm just the only one who saw it. Oh my, that is the brutal line. Because that's what people think. That's what white people think when they don't get what they want. They think they're getting something taken away from them that was never theirs. Oh, like, I know I'm white, but I'm generalising white people. But then I did enjoy Candice then, like, slapping it in her face, being like, we're only allowed to release certain amount of books per year. We can't have too many diverse people in our publishing pool. Otherwise it's too much. And then they're fighting against each other. Like, it's not a smart business move, etc, etc. It's so twisted. And I want to get people's opinion on, what do we think about Athena? Okay, like, we know what June is like. We know we don't like June. She's a racist person, selfish, she's narcissistic, all of the above. But what do we think about Athena? Obviously, we're sorry for her at the beginning, but then you find out snippets about her that she somewhat stole people's stories. We think she published them as somewhat her own work, and you hear it from June's point of view, from her ex-partner's point of view. Both of them are white. However, you do find out some other people didn't like her. Some people in the Asian community, there was tweets about her and people being like, we didn't like what she stood for, she took advantage, and blah blah blah. So like, a lot of people had a hate train for Athena. So then she doesn't seem as good as you first thought she was. The thing that I have the issue with is we never get Athena's point of view. So we don't know. And that's the thing. What is the truth about Athena? What do we know? What was she really like? I think what settled it for me of how I feel about Athena was Candice at the end in the argument, where June just says all of that stuff, being like, oh, they only want you, and Athena had everything. And then Candice was like, she was put in that box by the publishers, so she grabbed it by the horns and she rode with it. And you know what? Why should we demonize her because she was forced to be in that box? And that was the cards that she got dealt, so she used it. Kind of, Candice was pretty much saying that. But then she was like, well, I didn't like her, she was a bitch. So it's like, you cannot like someone, but then not blame them for the work they did because that's what she was told to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense there. So I felt like I couldn't judge Athena too much. In the end, I did find her, what she might have done, if she did steal June's story about the trauma that she went through during college, uni. I mean, that's horrible. That's the only conflicting thing I had throughout the book. It was who was Athena? But in the end, it doesn't matter because this really doesn't have anything to do with what Athena did. It hasn't. And that's the point I think we've got to put across, is it doesn't matter if Athena was a horrible person. That is literally in the past. She is dead. Like I said, a bad doesn't make a bad deed good. And this is messed up. The bits that I was just shocked about, my jaw dropped when she was told to change her name to Juniper Song. Oh, like, at each point you think she's gonna fold, like throughout the book, but she's just determined till the end. I didn't know what to think of her. Athena's ex, Joff, I think he was called. I didn't feel bad for him in any way. Were we meant to? I don't know. I think it was good. It shows how twisted Twitter is, though, in general. Like, I think Twitter, I mean, I deleted it years ago, way before it turned into X, because it just got too toxic. I was worried for a sec that TikTok was getting in that direction. It probably still is, but Twitter was just an absolute fest to just rip people a new one and no consequences. Even if people were in the right, people took it too far all the time. Oh, and I love the clapback of, I think her apprentice was called Molly, you know, the person that she taught, and then she ended up coming out of uni and getting like a six-figure book deal. Emmy's just like, yeah, don't speak to me anymore. We have very different perceptions of how the industry works. And then she's jealous of Emmy. I mean, anyone who does better than her, she begrudges. But the funny thing is, she never talks about white women, begrudging them. She only does it with Athena and Emmy. Maybe I've got that wrong. And I'm just realising that now. But again, it just shows that she feels like she's getting taken something away from her. And being like, oh, there's so many like white women in our industry. Like, I'm the one that's struggling to get in because of that. She then begrudges any diversity, anyone not like her, getting stuff that she thinks she deserves. Ugh! This book's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, but I think that's the point. To be fair, it did spark some really good conversations with my partner. Like, we spoke about it quite a bit. So I think that's why it does deserve a 4-star. I did give it a 4. I was hintering on the 3.5 because, yeah, I wasn't sure. It's my least favourite book out of the 3 I've read during this vlog. But it did spark some good conversations. And I think it does slap you in the face, and it's just very unique. It's very unique. I've never read a book like this. I've never hated a main character so much, but I did laugh. It's very dark humour. Like some of the things, oh my God. But anyway, that's all the things I wanted to discuss. I want people's opinions on Athena. Did you think the same as me with June? Like, do you know what I mean? I feel bad that she went through bad experiences, but we all have. So does that warrant us all to be horrible people? No. Do people agree with me there? What do we think of Candice? I mean, I do feel like she took it too far, but so did June. Hope you've enjoyed this rambly vlog. I mean, I don't even know if this is people are gonna reach the end here, because I'm doing this for my own sanity, because I needed to get my thoughts out, because all of her books are deep. They all have a message through it, so I needed to get it out there to see if anyone else thought the same. So if you've made it this far, well done. I've managed to get some people talking about the books that I'm reading, mainly my manga. People love to talk about mangas, and I love the manga community I'm building. But I did get some good chat about my Otessa Mosh Fair Death in Her Hands video, and people bringing their theories forward, and I just love it. I just love talking about people's thoughts and theories about books. So I'll say it again, if you have any for Babel, the Poppy War, or Yellowface, you know where to write. But hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.